So while you're coming down onto your knees, you can basically choose to keep the knees nice and close as you're sitting down, or to open them out to a mat distance. I personally like a wider position in the morning. So making your way forward, and as usual when we're starting in Balasana or child's pose, there is that moment where the head comes down towards the ground. If you notice that's highly uncomfortable, you might as well just stack your fists, keep the forehead resting on those, or even on the block. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay too. You could just leave the head hovering, but making sure that we're reasonably comfortable in that position. Allowing a few movements coming from the hips and the shoulders as you're trying to settle into the space. And then coming into the stillness of child's pose. And while your body might become more restful, there is an opportunity to deepen the breath. And you could begin by drawing the breath right down into the belly, to then expand into your ribs and to take the breath up towards your collarbones. And then when breathing out, kind of a little bit of a squeeze of the tummy inwards as you're releasing the breath from belly to your ribs and to your collarbones. Allowing a full yogic breath pattern. I am also inviting you to visualize the color indigo. And I will share with you what this color is about. It's taken from the secret language of color. Indigo can help with any illness affecting your head, eyes, ears, or nose. It helps to treat mental and emotional disorders, such as ADD, anxiety, depression. Indigo is great for problems with insomnia and to release stress and tension. And that's the part I like most about it, releasing stress and tension. When visualized, indigo can provide a sense of clarity and purpose. So you might allow that color indigo to stay with you as you visualize it. Maybe a rays in an indigo color. It can improve your vision and make your dreams a reality. Dreams can be big, dreams can be small. So you might have yours in mind. Maintaining your deep, full breath as you start to reach your arms forward on the mat. And with the next inhalation, lifting your hips away from your heels. As you come up onto all fours, placing your knees back underneath the hips, aligning your hands at about shoulder distance and slightly forward, and grounding down now through the hands fully, as well as through shins and tops of feet. I will ask you with your next inhalation to extend your right leg back and press out through the heel of the right foot. Then point it, and as you breathe out, draw your knee and nose together underneath a rounded back. We'll repeat that once more as we inhale, extending out through the heel, then pointing the foot as we breathe out to draw the knee in. But now on the inhale, open your knee out towards the side, flex the foot, and as you're exhaling, extend your leg to the side. Pointing the foot as you inhale, circle the leg back, realign your hips. And we'll go again. On the exhale, bring your knee and nose together. On the inhale, open your knee sideways, flex the foot. And as you exhale, extend your leg to the side. Pointing the foot as you breathe in, circle the leg back. We'll go for one more round. Exhaling, nose, knee together, around the back. On the inhale, open the knee, flex the foot, breathe out, extend your leg to the side. Point the foot again as you inhale, bring it back. As you flex the foot on the exhale now, landing your toes down onto the ground. Becoming firm here in your arms. Maybe lifting the left leg off the ground as well, encouraging the tailbone in the direction of the heels and up that space between your shoulder blades. Then lower your knees to the ground. Keep your elbows by your side as you exhale. Come down towards the mat, untuck your toes. On the inhale, wave up into a Cobra, supported with hands or not. And then as you're exhaling, press the floor away and moving back into extended child's pose. Lowering the forearms down to the floor and turning the hands to face upwards. On your next inhalation, spread out the hands as much as you can. Open through the palms, through the fingers. And when you're breathing out, make soft fists with your hands, curling all the fingers in. We'll do that one more time. On the inhale, open the hands out wide, give the palms a stretch. And on the exhale, making soft fists with each hand. As we release that movement, we're turning the palms back down onto the floor. We're extending the arms back actively towards the front of the mat. And with the next inhale, coming again onto all fours. As we set ourselves back up with hands and knees, and we're grounding more through the hands, shins, and tops of feet. With the next inhalation now, bringing the left heel out and back as we're extending through the leg. Point your foot for the exhale to draw your knee and nose together underneath. Nothing else in that first round. As you inhale, extend back out through the heel. Point the foot, and with the out breath, bring your knee and nose together underneath. With the inhale now, open the knee to the side. Flex the foot. On the out breath, extend your legs sideways. Point the foot. Inhaling, circle the leg back, realign your pelvis. Exhaling, nose to knee, knee to nose. Inhaling, open your knee to the side, flex the foot. Breath out, extend your leg sideways. Point the foot. Inhaling, circle back, realign. Last round. Breath out, draw your knee, nose together underneath. Inhaling, open the knee, flex the foot. Breath out, extend your leg sideways. Point the foot. Take an inhale as you circle back. Flex it as you breathe out to land your tucked under toes onto your mat. Option, lifting the other knee off the floor as well, finding a high plank as you engage back to the heels, tailbone to the heels, space in between the shoulder blades, a smile on your lips towards your mat. And then either pushing forward on your toes to lower or bringing the knees back down. We'll keep the elbows in as we release down onto the mat. On the inhale, create your wave for your Cobra, supported or unsupported, your choice. And then as you're exhaling, push the floor away, reaching back towards your heels into child's pose. Once more, land your forearms on the floor. Turn the palms of the hands to face upwards. And as you're inhaling now, start to fold in your little ring finger, middle finger, index, and then cross the thumb over for a fist. And when you're exhaling, unfold that again from your thumb to the index, middle ring, and little finger, spreading out the palms again. One more as you inhale, start to fold in from the little finger all the way to the thumb. And as you're breathing out, open your thumb, and then gradually all the other fingers will open. Once the palms of the hands are open, turn them back around onto the mat. Start to lift the forearms off the ground. On your next inhalation, come up onto all fours. And we will come into downward facing dog unless you prefer to stay in all no fours. So with the hips a little bit higher, you might choose to walk out your legs. Get a bit of a swing into the hips and move the upper body. And then we'll use the walking movement as we actually walk the feet forward, coming towards the front end of the mat. Allowing yourself to stay here in Uttanasana, standing forward bend, your knees soft, let your belly rest over your thighs, let the head be low. And then if that suits, take one hand to the opposite elbow and do the same with the other. Allowing yourself to hang out long at first. And just a little sway of the body from side to side, trying to find some release through the back. And now while you keep your hands on your elbows, take a breath in and lengthen into a half lift. Leave your arms just hanging underneath the shoulders at first. And as you're breathing out, soften back down. 2 more on the inhale, lift up halfway. On the exhale, let that fall. And do that one more time, lifting up halfway. Aim to lengthen your spine. Knees can be bent a little as you're taking up. And then let that fall again. We will release our hands down towards the mat. We'll take an inhale to lengthen up through the spine. And then with the exhalation, let us step the left foot back into a lunge. Bringing a bend into the left knee as we inhale to collapse the lunge. And when you're breathing out, start curling up to stand. And with the inhale, lifting both of your arms, maybe even lifting your gaze. And then settle a little bit into the lunge as you're breathing out. With the next inhale, straighten your legs, reach up even more. And as you're exhaling, lower your left heel and open the arms out for a warrior 2. You can turn your gaze towards your front hand fingertips. Adjust your shoulders, your arms if you need to. Arms usually straight out from the shoulders. Finding your stance on your feet. And if you're comfortable with that, start to move the whole upper body, but keep the lower body still. Let your spine move, your shoulders, your arms, and maybe even being a bit creative with that. As we center ourselves again, reaching the arms back out, returning our drishti, our gaze point, over the right hand fingertips. We will bend our back knee, lift the heel back up on the inhale, also lifting the arms as we return into the high lunge. On the exhale, bring your hands back down onto the mat and step the foot back towards the front of the mat. Half lift as you inhale. Forward fold on the exhale, allowing the knees again to be a little bit bent. And as your arms are hanging here, deliberately choose the other hand to reach for the opposite elbow first. Then do the same with the other. So we've got a different arm on top. You can now choose as you inhale to leave your arms hanging underneath the shoulders, or to lift the arms to frame your head around your ears. And when you're breathing out, you're letting that fall again. 2 more to go. Arms wrapped around the head as you're lifting up halfway or hanging under the shoulders, and let that drop again on the hour breath. Just 1 more like this. Lengthen your spine. Your arms around the head's a lot stronger. And then let that go again. And let your hands fall back onto the mat as well. Another half lift, but your hands can slide up for a support this time. And we're stepping our right foot back into a lunge. Soften the right knee. Soften the whole posture as you inhale, collapse it. And then when you're exhaling, begin to roll up from your back. And on the inhale, the arms are extending. Maybe so is your gaze. As you soften into your back knee, landing in that high lunge. With the next inhale, straighten your legs, reach towards the ceiling. Then lower the right heel and the warrior 2. Same here, important is a solid stance into the ground. Arches active. Arms, make sure they are at ease, especially around the shoulders. Otherwise, arms nice and long, shoulders down, and drishti, gaze point forward. As you settle in, there's more stability in the lower body. Maintain that. And if it was okay for you, you might move the upper body, arms and shoulders here in a more creative way again. Once that movement's completed, extending the arms back out, turning your drishti towards the front hand. Solidly standing in your life as we move forward. Bending into the back knee, take a breath in, back heel lifts off the floor, arms reaching up for a high lunge. On the out breath, bring your hands down onto the mat. And this time also step your foot back into a downward facing dog. I invite you to roll this forward into a plank as you're inhaling, and you might bring your knees down onto the mat. On the out breath, release into a vinyasa flow as we lower on or toward the mat. On the inhale, out dog or cobra. And on your out breath, make your way back into downward facing dog. Soften the knees a little. We'll take an inhale from here to lift the right leg up, leading that with the heel of the foot. Point the foot then as you open your knee out towards the side, keeping stability in your arms, finding a little bit more space around the hip, the side of the waist. And when you're next exhaling, landing that right foot into the middle of the mat with your toes pointing outwards. You can lower your outer edge of the left foot to the ground, or come with me, more supported left knee to the floor. Left forearm lands on the mat. And with the inhale now, the right arm is lifting. Softening the hips towards the floor as you swing your arm down, that's your out breath. And as you inhale, stretch the hips up, reach your arm up. We'll do that again, swing down, lower. Breath in and lift to open. One more, lower and swing. And reach it up. We will place the second forearm to the mat. We will tuck the back toes under if the knee was off the floor, lift it. Step the other foot back. We're in a dolphin pose. On the inhale, roll the spine forward, find the forearm plank. Lower your knees down to the mat, untuck your toes, engage the lower abdomen. As you breathe out, lower the hips down. And while you're inhaling, lifting through the heart, opening up into swings. And with the exhale, releasing down onto the mat. Sliding the hands back by the sides of the floating ribs. As you inhale, come to all fours. Tuck the toes under and breath out, returning your body into a downward facing dog. On the next inhale, let your left leg lift. Lead again with the heel of the foot so the pelvis is still aligned. Point the foot and open your knee out as you're exhaling. Keep the knee open, arms in balance if possible. And with your next out breath, land your left foot into the middle of the mat, toes pointing sideways. Right foot, you can rest to the outer edge of it or bring the knee down. Below, place the right forearm onto the floor. And with the inhale, lifting the left arm towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower your hips and swing your arm down in front. And as you inhale, push the hips up, reach your arm up. 2 more, exhale, lower hips and swing down. Inhale, lift the hips, arm reaching up. Last round, swing down. And inhale to lift. While we're bringing our left forearm to the mat. If the back knee is on the floor, lift it. We'll bring this tucked under toes back onto the ground. We're stepping the other foot back and lifting our hips like we do in down dog for a dolphin shape. Same here on the inhale. Roll the spine forward. Find a forearm plank. Bring your knees down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Engage especially lower abdomen. And bring the pelvis down before you take an inhale to lift again into the swings. If you want to take this a little bit further, plant your hands down, lift the elbows, extending the body more towards a cobra. With the next exhale, land this on the mat. Hands back to floating ribs. Inhaling all fours, either to stay or exhale for a downward facing dog. Allow yourself a pause. If your knees want to be on the floor, very likely the right position for you. Otherwise, maybe soften the knees a little, stretch your tailbone further up and back, and create that beautiful space in your upper back where the shoulders move into an open space and a little bit away from your ears. Another deep breath in and out. And then you can choose how your feet can come to the top of the mat. You can walk them there, step them there, or even jump towards the front end of the mat. When you arrive, half lift on your inhale, forward fold on the exhale. Let us bend both knees from here, reaching the arms forward into a chair pose. So you can stay where you are. I've just turned myself around for you to see. And we will open the arms out towards the side, keeping our knees in a bend. Lifting the right knee off the mat. And then crossing the right leg over the left. Let your right arm wrap underneath your left. And as you wind your arms up, you might bring your hands to touch. Let your shoulders just relax down. So while we're holding the shape here at the front end of our mat, the gaze is steady, and you might choose to squeeze your arms and legs quite tightly together. Leaving your arms exactly like this as you lift your right knee up on the in-breath. Starting to flex the foot and move on to warrior 3, but keeping your arms round if that's possible. extending out through the heel of the right foot. So the hips and the toes and the gaze is down to the mat. Pointing the toes from here, landing the foot down. Soften into the back knee. We're returning to a high lunge, but we're lifting the elbows up and extending into the back bend. With your next inhale, push a bit off the back foot, then land that foot down as you turn yourself to center into the mat, starting to sway the body. Move the knees, move the upper body, and begin to come side to side and downwards. As you're moving down towards the floor, you might start to brush your fingertips along the mat. I will ask you then to unwind your arms, bring the feet into alignment as the outer edges come parallel, lift up onto the fingertips for a half lift, and then complete a standing forward bend with the legs up wide as your hands land down underneath your shoulders, and your shoulders lift back into the shoulder sockets. The weight is lightly forward in the feet. The knees are out of the lock or even bent. The tailbone reaches towards the ceiling. The crown of the head towards the floor. On your next out, by slightly engage the lower abdomen. See if that slight engagement, maybe towards the tailbone, helps to deepen the forward fold. And you could play with that for the next few breaths as you release that with each inhale and maybe switch back on with the exhale. With the next inhale, then come back up onto your fingertips and lengthen your spine. Turning your left toes back to the front end of the mat and walking your hands towards the inside of this foot. While you're lengthening through the spine, lift your arms out and bring them behind your back. As you interlace the hands there, draw the arms down your back and reach forward with the crown of the head. Your choice is, of course, to hold here or to turn this into a humble warrior as you lead down towards the inside of your knee. The arms might lift away from the back. Keep grounding through the feet. The feet are back in this warrior two stance. Arches active. Both feet used despite most of the weight leaning forward. Or then release the hands down either side of your left foot, lifting the right heel. Step the foot back, downward facing dog. You can add a morning flow as you roll forward into plank or kneeling plank. Your choice to come on or towards the mat as you exhale. Finding Cobra or upward facing dog with your inhale. And then returning either into a puppy shape on your knees, tailbone up, or straight into downward facing dog. Return your awareness now to the breath. While you might have little adjustments in your shape, no matter the puppy or the down dog, the spine in a more neutral position. Deep breath down into the belly, ribs to collarbones. Gentle engagement of lower abdomen as you're breathing out. Your choice to walk, step, or jump the feet to the top end of the mat. Take a half lift when you're arriving. Fold forward when you're exhaling. Bend your knees more deeply. Reach the arms forward into a chair on the inhale. Open them out as you exhale, but keep your knees in a bend. Lift the left knee up. Maybe crossing the leg over. Letting the left arm come underneath the right. Shoulder hug or palms touching. Settling into Eagle Garudasana as you might squeeze your legs and arms firmly together. Stability in the gaze. Enjoying the wobbles that a balance usually brings. While you hold your arms, take an inhale to lift your left knee, flexing the foot. And as you're raising out, turn the eagle into a warrior with eagle arms, extending out through the heel of the left foot, toes, hips, gaze towards the ground. Then point your left foot, land the toes down, soften into the left knee and start to rise up in your lunge. Maybe lifting the elbows, so extending the lunge into a back bend. To release it, let your left heel land and turn your body to center as you sway again from side to side. Move your knees, move your arms, shoulders, your back. Everything is flowing side to side, down towards the ground, where your fingers might brush over the mat again. As you still flow, start to align your feet, outer edges parallel now. Unwind your arms, lift up onto your fingertips as you're inhaling. And if you would like a different variation, otherwise keep hands under shoulders. Take your hands into the side of the waist. Squeeze your shoulder blades and elbows back and then fold down in the same way as before. Tailbone high, weight a little bit forward in the feet. Crown of the head towards the floor. Keep your shoulders a little bit lifted, squeezing back if your hands are in your waist, and stay for another 3 breaths. Deep, long exhalations to help you deepen your forward bend. Once completed, let your hands come to the floor, half lift on your inhale, and then turn your right toes back to the front end of the mat. Bend the right knee, walk your hands over to the inside of this foot. And while you begin to lengthen your spine, reach the arms out and then interlace the hands behind your back. If you like, you can change the interlace with the other finger on top. Lengthen your arms down your spine and reach forward with the crown. Your choice to hold here or to come into humble warrior as you lean towards the inside of the knee. Release the head and maybe lift your arms away from your back. Stay grounded and keep your arches lifted in your feet as you hold the humble warrior. Then let your hands release either side of the right foot. Lift your left heel and step back into downward dog. I will take you onto the mat this time. On the inhale, roll the spine forward, same choice. Knees on or off the mat. And as you breathe out, lower all the way down onto the floor. Resting even the forehead down. We'll extend the right arm forward and we bend our left knee. Now it's not important that you can actually reach for the foot. If you can, please do take a hold of foot or ankle. It's okay if not, you can leave the knee bent. In that case, maybe flex your foot. As we inhale, press down into the left side while you're bringing, right side, while you're bringing your left foot into the hand. Holding here, the hand grounded, that's the right side, top of the foot, helping you to lift off the ground. And if you're feeling quite strong, you can then lift the straight side off the floor as well. Holding here for 2, 1, and then let that go as you release the forehead down. Maybe have some cactus arms. We'll change sides. So left arm is now extending forward. Right knee is bending. If you can catch the foot or the ankle, take a hold. We ground down through the left hand, top of the left foot, and bring the right foot into the hand if you can reach as we lift our upper body, maybe the right knee off the ground. Keep pushing the floor away with left hand, top of the foot. And if you're feeling extra strong, you might lift arm and leg off the floor and hold again. For another 2. 1. And release the body down. Maybe back to cactus arms, forehead resting on the floor. Now, check in with your personal energy levels, with how your physical body is going. You can choose to extend both arms forward, keep hands grounded or not. Or you could bring your arms down by your sides for full Dhanurasana or bow pose. You would bend both knees, take a hold of feet or ankles, making sure that the knees are maximum hip distance apart. And as you bring the feet back into the hands, we will lift. Now, if your arms are long, lifting straight legs or bent knees, up to you. Maybe your arms could lift off the floor. Whatever shape you have chosen, stay. 2 more breaths. And 1 more, I know they're a bit shorter. And then release that back down onto the ground. Bring your arms forward. Maybe stack your hands to rest your forehead on. And if you like, can you bend the knees once more and just let the legs swing a little from side to side, aiming for a bit of release. Then let your feet land back on the mat. Slide the hands towards the floating ribs. Push it up onto all fours and bring your hips back to the heels for a child's pose, where the head is either on the ground or supported in some form. Allowing yourself again to breathe deeply. Same as you did at the very beginning of the class, where the breath expands in a full yogic pattern from belly to ribs to collarbones, and where you're drawing back down from the belly to the ribs to the collarbones. Only 2 more breaths. Before you might slide your hands back by your sides and roll the body up. Just sit upon the heels before taking your feet out in front. Make your way forward to the front end of your mat and bring the soles of your feet together. You can either hold on to the outer edges of your feet or interlace your hands around your toes. Find length before you start to wiggle the body from side to side. It's clever if you've already prepared yourself for Shavasana, because that's not too far away. So maybe bringing your jumpers back in as you find your centered seat. Pull your spine really long, and you might just take your right foot off the ground. Maybe extending the right leg. Bending the knee as you touch your feet back together. We'll do the same with the left leg, maybe lifting the foot. Maybe extending the leg out. Then bringing the soles of the feet to touch again. If that works for you, if it doesn't, you can always just fall onto your back. If possible, lift both feet off the floor. Maybe lift both feet a bit more. Maybe extend both legs as you're balancing here. If you've just fallen down, why not stay there? We will join you in a moment as I invite you to bend your knees and roll down onto your back. You can extend the legs again if you like. Otherwise, just releasing the legs then and bringing them a little bit together as you release your arms down by your sides. Take an inhale. And as you're exhaling, give your right knee a hug while you lower your left foot or straight leg towards the ground. Keeping that big squeeze into the chest. And with the next exhale, your nose towards the knee. Then lie back down as you inhale. Left hand on the knee, right arm falls out, and then exhale to cross the body for a twist. Imagine you can breathe all this indigo light from the crown of the head down the right side of the body, all the way to the foot. And then roll back onto your back. Left knee comes back in. We're extending both legs to the ceiling. Arms relaxed, in breath. And as you're exhaling, then embracing your left knee to the chest while you might lower right foot or extended leg towards the floor. Keep your left knee squeezed into the chest. On an exhale, option to lift nose to the knee. Before you release the upper body back down, right hand on the knee, left arm falls out to the side. On the out breath, guide your knee across the body. Keep the shoulders on the ground as you hold. And you might bring that indigo light now up from the foot all the way over the left side of the body, back to the crown of the head, filling yourself with the color. And then rolling back down onto the back. You could choose to let both legs come out long as we arrive in Shavasana, or make all your adjustments, put your cushioning underneath, whatever it is that you usually do. Finding a few minutes of stillness and restfulness. Please also, if you have spare time, feel free to extend your Shavasana while others might finish the practice with me. Allowing the body to become still again. The movement stops. The breath slows down. Observe that as it occurs. Allowing the breath to become soft and gentle. The body feeling either heavy or light towards the floor. And if you like, you can stay in a stillness, observing your breath. Or you might reflect upon your own eyes. Do they look tired, or did they this morning? They're heavy or light and relaxed. Imagine indigo light penetrating into your eyes. This light tries to find any dark spots in your field of vision and dissipate them. Let your eyes completely relax into the eye sockets. If you struggle because of bright light or anything else, you might cup your eyes with your hands. Imagine then something in the future that you would like to create. And then freeze it as if it was a beautiful painting. And then place this painting in an indigo bubble and allow it to float into the middle of the world and shine its energy from there. You might ask the divine, however you name it, please allow what I have seen in my vision to manifest in the perfect time and in the perfect way. If you would like to complete the practice with me, allow the body to move a little and deepen your breath. Have you take this indigo light with you into your day, helping you to manifest what it is that you want to create. Perfect time for that after the new moon. If you'd like to join me, please come into a seated shape and bring your hands together. Connecting back with that you have created. As we shine our light to each other. Namaste.